Hi friends, welcome to QApedia and this is our blog qapedia.com. Today in this session the topic that we are going to cover is JavaScript tutorial anonymous functions in JavaScript. So the subtopics that we'll see are what is anonymous function, normal function, anonymous function, types of anonymous function, then we have 4 types of anonymous function and then we'll see the summary of the session. So let's start. What is anonymous function? So anonymous function is a type of function which has no name or no identifier. So how do we define or declare an anonymous function, or how do we call them? If you want to see that, then let's take an example of a normal function first. A normal function. So let's see a normal function declaration, definition and calling. First of all, we write a keyword called function. Okay. So we write a keyword called function. Then we write the name of the function, whatever name we want to give. So suppose we are giving a name as add. Then we write a parenthesis. So we write a parenthesis. And then we write the definition of the function inside the curly braces. So inside these curly braces, we write the definition of the norm of the function. So this is how a normal function is defined. Now, if you want to call a normal function, then we can call it by the name of the function, something like this. So this is the name of the function and we can use this name to call the function. So let's take a look at the definition of a normal function in our editor. So let's go to Replit and let's start our JavaScript demo tutorial, and let's write our function definition here. So first of all, we'll write a keyword called function, and then we'll write some name, add, we'll write parenthesis, then we'll write curly braces, and inside those curly braces we will write our definition of the body. We'll write here 2 plus 3, and that's it. Our function is ready. If you want to call this function, then what you need to do, you just need to see add, and like this you can call it. And if you will run this function, then you will see 5 is getting printed. So this is how a normal function works. Now let's see how to write the definition for an anonymous function. How do we declare it and how do we call this anonymous function? So first of all, we write a keyword called function, same like a normal function. We'll write a keyword called function. Then we don't write the name of the function, because anonymous function does not have any name. Okay, so there will be no name. We directly write the parenthesis. So we'll write the parenthesis directly, and then we write the definition of the function inside the curly braces. So same like a normal function, everything is same. The only difference is we don't have any name here. That's it, nothing else. Okay, now the problem with this particular thing is, how can we call this type of function, because there is no name in the function. Okay, if I want to call it, then there should be some name of the function. In that case, what do we do? Because you see here, identified expected. Okay, this type of error will come. So what do? We assign some variable or constant to this type of functions. Okay, now so this type of variable or constant, when we assign, then that will work as an identifier or expect name of the function. Now if you want to call this function, then we can simply write here add, and this time also the result is going to be same, 5. Now if suppose I'll make it 3 plus 3, then it will print 6. Okay, so like this our anonymous function work. There is one more use of anonymous function, and that is the main use of anonymous function, that we can pass an anonymous function as an argument to a higher order function. Okay, so higher order function is a function which takes one or more arguments as a function. Okay, we can pass a function as an argument to higher order function. So we had seen some higher order array functions in one of our previous sessions, and we had seen that how do we pass an anonymous function inside those higher order array functions. So let's see them again. Let's take an example of for each here. Okay, so let's say we have an array. We can simply copy this and we'll paste it here. Okay, now for this particular array we can use for each loop num dot for each, and then inside this we can pass an anonymous function. Okay, so you can see our anonymous function is coming here, and we can simply pass it like this. So this is our anonymous function. Okay, this is the function keyword. There is no name, there is only parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis we are passing a parameter. So what is parameter? We will see that again. We are passing a parameter. What is this parameter? This parameter is the element of this array, one element of the array, and then we are doing some operation. We are multiplying that element. So we are taking the square of the element. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's write here console dot log, and we'll write here original array is and then here we can write plus num, like this we can write. Okay, and now if we want, what are we doing? We are finding the square of each element, so we can write one more statement, console dot log, then square of each element in the array is. That's it, done. And then we can run this particular code. So what is our array? This array is 3 5 1 2 4, and square of each element in the array is 3. Square of 3 is 9, square of 5 is 25, square of 1 is 1, square of 2 is 4, and then square of 4 is 16. So this is how our anonymous function works in as an argument. Now what are the types of anonymous function? So we have 4 types of anonymous function. Anonymous function with no parameters and no return type, anonymous functions with parameters and no return type, anonymous function with no parameter but with return type, and anonymous function with parameters and with return type. So anonymous function with no parameters and no return type is a simple normal example which we have seen already here. Okay, that's the normal function. What do? We write the function, and then inside parameter, no, inside this parenthesis no parameter will pass. We write our function body simply here, and then while calling also we can call it simply like this. Now what is anonymous function with parameters and no return type? So in that case, inside this parameters parenthesis we pass some parameters. So that is anonymous function with parameters and no return type, and then whatever operation we want to perform we'll do that. There is no return type, so we'll print the statement here itself. So let's see this now. Anonymous function with parameters and no return type. Constant add is equals to a comma b, and then if you want to call this function, then calling is simple. I mean, earlier we were calling it without any parameters. This time we'll pass some numbers here. So we have passed some numbers. Okay, now if suppose you want to run it, then it will print 5. if you will pass here 3, it is going to print 6. If you will pass here 30 comma 3, it will print 33 here. If you will pass here 30 plus 30, then it is going to print 60 here. Like this, our anonymous function will work with parameters and with no return type. Now we have seen this particular example with 2 parameters. We can see an example with 1 parameters also, only 1 parameter. We'll do one thing. Simply we'll write 1 parameter and we'll give it some name like square, and we'll do one thing, we'll multiply same, and here also we just don't have to do anything, just 1 parameter will pass. Now let's run it. What's the problem? Sorry, function name is square and we are square 3. Yeah, it is, sorry. So it is printing 9. Now in place of 3 we'll pass 5, so it is going to print 25. If you'll pass 50, it is going to print 2500. So this is how our anonymous function with parameters but no return type will work. This type of anonymous function we can pass as an argument to an higher order array like for each. Okay, so we have seen this example already. Okay, and we are passing it to our for each function. Okay, let's see it again. So let's copy this array and then copy this as well. We'll do it here, and then what we'll do, we'll call num dot for each, and then same like how we were writing a function, we can copy this here. So just copy and we'll paste it here. Okay, and that's it, done. That's how our anonymous function we can copy it here. We can write it here, but we can simply copy also here. In place of ELE we are using A here. Now if I want to run this program, then this is the 2500 is square of 50, then our original array is being printed, and then square of each element is being printed. Square of 3 is 9, square of 5 is 25, square of 1 is 1. Like this, our anonymous function with parameters but no return type, anonymous function with parameters but no return type works. Then we have anonymous function with no parameters but with return type. So what is happening this time? So this time there is no parameter, but what are we doing? We are returning some value. So we are returning some value. So what will we say? We are returning 2 plus 3 because we are adding here, so we'll change the name also to add. This is a function called add. And what will we do? We will simply call this function add, and we can call it, remove it, and so this function is called but nothing is being printed because we are not writing here console.log here. Okay, this particular function is returning some value. So when it is returning some value, then while calling it we have to store it in some constant. Okay, so we'll do one thing, const sum is equals to add, and then we can print the value of sum, console dot log, and then we'll print sum, and now it is printing 5. So it is done. Now it is working properly. So this is how our anonymous function with no parameters but with return type will work. So whenever there is some return type, then we have to use some constant for while calling the function. Then we have anonymous function with parameters and with return type. So this time we have return keyword also, and we will have some parameters also. So a comma b we will pass, and we will return the addition of a and b. And whenever we will call this function, we have to pass some parameter. We will pass here 39 comma 56, something we are passing. This is how we'll pass, and then we are storing this value here in this variable, and then we are printing that particular value. Let's run it. So 39 plus 56 is 95. It is being printed here. So this is how our anonymous function with parameters and with return type will work. Now this particular example is with two parameters. We can see an example with only one parameters also. So we will simply pass here only a, and what will we do? We'll do here square, and we'll do here multiplication of that, and we'll pass only one parameter while calling it, because we have only one parameters. So let's run it. So it is printing 9. Okay, we have passed 3 as a parameter. We are doing multiplication. We are finding square of a number. So 3 ka square of 3 is 9. Now if suppose I want to, I'll say 5. Square of 5 is 25, and square of 9, if you want to print, it is 81. Like this, our anonymous function with parameters and with return type will work. This type of anonymous function we can pass as an argument to higher order array map. Okay, so let's see this. So this is our array, and we are printing the items of array, and we'll do one thing. We'll copy this items dot map, and inside this map, what we can do, we can simply copy this, and we can simply print it. That's it. Okay, and because this particular function, I mean, whenever some function will return something while calling, we have to store it in some element. So we will store here also in some variable const s1 is equals to this, and then we'll print s1 console dot log, and s1 will print it. That's it. And now let's run this program. What happened? Yeah, so we first of all, this function we have declared, and we were calling it, we are providing a value 9. So square of 9 is 18. Then we have an array, and we are printing that particular array. So that is, we have printed it here. And now what we are doing, we are calling a function map. Inside this function map, we are providing an anonymous function with parameters and with return type, and then some value is being stored, which we are storing it here, and some array is being written, because this map function will return some array, and that particular array we are printing here, and that array is this one, square of each element. So square of 3 is 9, square of 2 is 4, square of 5 is 25, square of 6 is 36, and so on. Like this, our anonymous function with parameters and with return type works. So this is what is there in today's session. And if you see the summary of today's session, then the topics that we have covered today are: what is anonymous function, what's a normal function, anonymous function, and then types of anonymous function. Okay, now we are going to cover arrow function in our next session. So arrow function is the most important function in JavaScript, and it becomes easy to understand arrow function if we understand anonymous function first, and that is why we have covered anonymous function first, and then we will cover arrow function in our next session. Okay, so that's it in this session. Thank you very much, guys.